Hello everyone, my name is Richa Mahajan. I'm assistant professor in Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, Jagannath University, Jaipur. Next, we are going to talk about what is lighting. When it comes to photography, the type of lighting that you use is one of the most important elements of any photo. Light in photography refers to how the light source, which can be natural or artificial, is positioned in relation to your subject. The position and quality of light can affect any number of things in your final photo, from clarity to tone to emotions and so much more. By paying attention to how light plays off the angles and curves of your subject, and which parts of the subject are illuminated and which are in darkness, you can become a stronger photographer because you will start to learn how to harness your light source in the most effective way for any given project. How light affects your photography. Whether you are doing portrait photography or still life or landscape, so much of your lighting choices will depend on the features of your subject and how you want them to be portrayed in your photos. For example, hard light is more severe and will emphasize angles and any surface that is not perfectly flat, like the waves at a beach or a model with wrinkles or acne, while soft lighting will smooth over these features. If you are doing a beauty shoot where the focus is flawless, features, the type of lighting that you will use likely be very different than a photo shoot where you want to emphasize the personality and distinctive lines of your model's face. Understanding how to make the best use of natural and artificial lighting in every situation will be a huge step forward in your journey to becoming the best photographer that you can. Next is different types of lighting. There are two main kinds of light. First is natural and second is artificial. Natural light is anything that occurs without human intervention, so it can be the direct light of the sun on a bright day, the diffused light created by a cloudy or foggy day, or even the light of the moon at night. On the other side of things, artificial light can often be moved around and adjusted to fit your situation. It is easier to position artificial light in relation to your subject than with natural lighting, where you would have to move the subject and camera according to the lighting technique that you want to use. Both artificial and natural lighting can be manipulated to create any number of styles of lighting as long as you know how to use them. Next is natural lighting. Natural light. If you want to use natural light in your photography, it's important to understand the angle of the sun and how that will affect your composition. For example, for most of the day, the sun is directly over top, so your subject will be lit from above. A sunny day without clouds will result in more intense shadow, while a sky full of clouds will diffuse the sunlight so that the contrast of light on your subject is less harsh. For natural lighting that is softer, you may want to make use of the hours closest to sunrise and sunset, when the sun will be off to a slight angle as opposed to directly above your subject, and the brightness of the sun may be less extreme. Next is front light, or you can say that flat light. Front light occurs when the light source is directly in front of your subject. Since the light is not an angle, this can result in a limited amount of shadows. The light will be spread evenly across the photos with no selection more or less exposed than the rest. Flat light can be good for portraits, especially if your subject has wrinkles or blemishes that they want to de emphasize. However, if you are attempting to create a portrait that shows a lot of personality, front lighting will not provide the detail you need in order to bring the subject's character to life. Another benefit of using front lighting is if you are exploring symmetry photography, as the lack of shadows helps to make both sides of the face appear more symmetrical. Next is backlight. Backlight photos are when the light source is behind the subject with the subject in between the light and your camera. This can be a great opportunity to play with silhouette and long shadows in your photography. The potential downside to backlit photos is that the white balance will be off, resulting in a loss of detail in your subject. This works well for silhouettes, but if you still want to see some details on your subject, this is the time to pull out your light diffuser to reflect some of the light from the background onto the front of the subject. Next is soft light. Soft lighting occurs when your light source is diffused so that the effect is more subtle than it would be with a direct source of light. By using soft light, you will end up with less intense shadows, if any at all, and a lower contrast between the darks and lights in your photo. If you are working in a photography studio, you can use a diffusion panel between the light source and your subject. This could even be a light colored curtain over the window to diffuse the natural sunlight coming in. If you are shooting outside, soft light will occur naturally on an overcast day as the clouds in the sky diffuse the direct light from the sun. By keeping the light soft, you can achieve a more youthful appearance in your portrait photography. Next is hard light. The opposite of soft or diffused light, hard lighting is when your light source is pointed directly at your subject. It results in high contrast and intensity, bright whites and dark shadows, and is often created by making use of the midday sun. You can also manufacture this type of light in your studio by using a spotlight or other source of light that is not diffused. Next is rim light. Rim light can be created using a form of backlighting where the light is at an angle from behind or above. The light will hit your subject in a way that creates a glowing outline or highlight around the subject, depending on the direction that your light is coming from. This technique is useful for distinguishing the subject from the background by providing definition. Position your light source above and behind your subject and adjust until you see the light rim appear. A higher contrast will bring out the rim light while a low contrast will dull the overall effect. If you are not getting enough of the details on the front of your subject, pull out a reflector to bring sufficient lighting to their features. Next is loop lighting. Loop lighting is a specific technique used for portraits. Yes. The name refers to a loop of shadows from the nose on the cheek. It is generally considered a less dramatic and intense option for portraits than some of the other options listed. Loop lighting is pretty universally flattering, so if you have multiple portrait appointments or mini sessions in one day, this is a great trick to pull out of your pocket. Position your light slightly higher than the model's eye level and at a 45-degree angle. You can experiment with a more or less defined loop by moving the light up and down, and can adjust the intensity of the shadow by moving the light closer or farther away from the subject. Next is broad lighting. Often used for graduation photos, Broad light for photography is a type of side lighting where the side of the model closest to the camera is lit and the side farther away is in shadow. This technique can be useful for a subject with a thinner face, as the side with the light on it on as the side with the light on it will appear larger than the side in shadow, resulting in a fuller face. Position your model's face at an angle turned slightly away from the camera to achieve this look. Short lighting. Short lighting is pretty much the exact opposite of broad lighting. In this case, the side of the face that is closest to the camera is in shadow, whereas the farthest side is in the light. Instead of creating a fuller face shape, short lighting will thin out the face. So be cautious of how and when you make use of both of these techniques. Next is butterfly lighting. Like loop lighting, butterfly lighting is named after the specific type of shadow that is created on your model's face. Position your light in front and above your subject to create a butterfly shaped shadow under their noise. This lighting is often seen in glamour shots and headshots. It will also serve to highlight the other facial features with the same level of severity, which can be great for accentuating high cheekbones but may not be useful if your model has deep set eyes and it can result in too much shadow under the eyes. Next one is split lighting. When the light hits your subject at a 90-degree angle, this is called split lighting. This results in a straight line down the center of your subject's face, with one side entirely lit and the other side completely in shadow. This is a great option for a dramatic portrait, particularly if you are using a hard light as opposed to soft. Next one is Rembrandt lighting. This style of lighting is named after the way that Rembrandt used lighting in his portrait paintings. It is a type of side lighting similar to split lighting, except that the side of the face that is in shadow has a triangle of light under the eye. This can be highly effective in making a two-dimensional image appear three-dimensional. Next is outdoor and indoor lights. Outdoor and indoor lights play a crucial role in photography and can significantly impact the overall look and feels of your image. Let's discuss each of them separately. Outdoor lights. Outdoor lighting conditions can vary greatly depending on factors such as time of day, weather conditions, and locations. Here are a few types of outdoor lighting and their effects. Number one is golden hour. The golden hour refers to the period shortly after sunrise and before sunrise when the sun is low on the horizon, resulting in soft, warm, and golden toned light. It is popular time for outdoor photography as it creates a beautiful and flattering light that enhances the colors and textures of the subject. Next is midday sunlight. The midday sun produces harsh and direct light due to its high position in the sky. This lighting can create deep shadows and strong highlights, making it challenging to capture well exposed images. To overcome this, you can use diffusers or reflectors to soften the light or look the shaded areas with more even lighting. Next is overcast sky. Cloudy or overcast skies can act as a natural diffuser, creating soft and even lighting conditions. This lighting is ideal for portraits and product photography as it minimizes shadows and reduces contrast. Next is backlighting. Backlighting occurs when the main light source is positioned behind the subject. It can create a silhouette effect or add a halo like glow around the subject. Backlighting can be challenging to expose correctly, so it often requires some adjustments to avoid underexposure of the subject. Indoor lights. Indoor lighting condition can vary depending on the type of lighting fixtures used and the color temperatures of the bulb. Here are some common indoor lighting scenarios. Natural window lighting. Natural window light utilizing natural light from windows can be create beautiful, soft and diffused lighting condition for indoor photography. The intensity and direction of light will vary depending on the time of the day and the window's orientation. You can use curtains or diffusers to modify the light if needed. Next is incandescent light. Incandescent bulbs emit a warm yellowish light. They can create a cozy and intimate atmosphere but may introduce color cast to your photos. You can adjust the white balance setting on your camera or use post processing techniques to correct the color temperature. Next is fluorescent light. Fluorescent lighting often produces a cool, slightly greenish cast. It can be challenging to work with due to its flickering nature and inconsistent color rendering. Adjusting the white balance or using color correction gels can help mitigate the color issues. LED lights. LED lights come in various color temperatures ranging from warm to cool. They are becoming increasingly popular for indoor photography due to their energy efficiency and adjustable color temperature options. You can fine tune the light's warmth or coolness by adjusting the color temperature settings on LED panels. In both outdoor and indoor photography, understanding and manipulating light are essential skills. You can experiment with different lighting conditions to achieve the desired mood, drama, or emphasis in your photographs. Additionally, utilizing light modifiers such as reflectors, diffusers, or artificial lights can provide more control over the lighting setup. Thank you so much.